Hello, this is Kilo Echo Zero Bravo Sierra Juliet, and this is an introduction to my 3905 CCN Log Browser. What this browser will let you do is pretty much it'll connect to your database for your November 7 X-Ray Golf Logger database and view all your contacts. And it'll give you some different options on how to filter contacts and just a little bit more powerful of a um, data grid than what is in the actual logger program itself. So as soon as you get it installed and you run it for the first time, you should see this little message box right here. And it's going to ask you if the path to the database is correct. This is where it should be if you installed it by default. And what it's looking for is if you open up Internet Explorer and wherever you installed your NX7 or N7XG logger program, it should be under Legacy Apps and then November 7 X-Ray Golf Club Logger. What it's going to be looking for is your contacts database file, which is right here. So if that's your location where it's installed, then you should be able to just click OK, and that right there is the address for the location, and that's exactly what that has here. Now if you installed in a different location, choose no, and it's going to ask you bring up this browse for a folder. Then you can browse it and select it from here as well. Okay, now it's going to ask you for the database table, and you'll do the same thing again. You'll browse through here until you can find the contacts table and then choose open. Now it should save those settings the next time you open it. Now up here you've got a file menu where you can exit the program, and then you got options where you can set choose a different table and stuff like that. And like I said, this is just the beginning. This is definitely in beta, pre-beta actually, but it's in beta, so a lot of this functionality is not working. And so if you come up here to choose table, it'll actually bring up that dialog box. Yeah. Okay. And export, you can actually export your table to Excel, Word, or PDF. The Word, you can only export to Word if it has less than 60, I think it's 63 columns. So if there's more than 63 columns here, then you can't export it to a Word format. And that's exactly what on the contacts table there's more than that. So if we went here, it's going to tell you there's too many columns, and to try to export it to Excel. So you can just say OK there. The cool thing about this, we can minimize this ribbon so you get more real estate. Just view your contacts. This is basically, if you're familiar with Excel, looks really close to being an Excel worksheet sheet. You can sum your columns. So if there's a column that you wanted sum, well, your cent RST. You can do count. That'll count how many records there is. So if you scroll down here to the very bottom of your table, it'll have your sums and your summaries down here, and it counts. There's 1064 records in this database. See, instead of sum, you can find your minimum and your maximums, and you can filter here. So let's go over here to state, and if we type in Missouri, it's going to only show you Missouri contacts. And if you come over here, you can clear the filter. This is the little clear button here, and then you Go search by call sign. Let's go Confederate States Navy. K0. And that'll show you there. You pretty much filter it down to whatever you want to, and you can filter it down by any column that's here. Clear that filter. You can also group the contacts, and how you do that is, let's say you want to group it by band. Click on band and drag it up here, drop it here. Okay, so now it groups them into bands. So there's my 160 meter, 20 meter, 40 meter, 75 meter. And then under that, if you click expand those out, then it shows all your contacts for 75, all your contacts for 40, all my contacts for 20. Now you can also have more levels of filter or grouping too. So let's say I want to group by band, and I also want to group by mode. Just take mode up here and drag it. Now you'll see it'll go by band and then mode. So now if I expand 20 meter, you're going to see my modes now, PSK31 RTTY. So then you can expand that, and that's going to show you all your contacts for 20 meter PSK, and then all my 20 meter RTTYs. And 160 meter, that's only single sideband. 40 meter, I'll have PSK and single sideband. I've only got 2 contacts for PSK on. I keep forgetting about those nets. And then 75 meters single sideband. Okay, so now let's say you want to group it also by have you received a QSL card. So if you scroll over here, grab QSL and drop it up there. Now it's going to filter it out by have you received a QSL card yet. So now if I go in here to 40 meter and I go to single sideband, it's also grouped it by the QSL. So there's 153 QSLs that I have not received yet. So you can go through here and scroll through and see which ones you haven't received. And then here's the ones I have. So I've received 350, and there's 3 of them in here that is not needed, or an X. Now let's say you wanted to rearrange these. You can move these around. So I want mode first and then band. So now if you notice your modes here, then you can expand those, and then you got your different bands under single sideband. Or if you want to go QSL then band, or if you want QSL first, then what that shows you is there's 334 QSLs that I have not received, 716 I've received, and 14 that are not needed. Now to get rid of one of these band groupings, all you got to do is take it and drag it, and just drag it off there and drop it. Okay. You can lock columns. So I want to see call sign. Now whenever I scroll to the left, call sign is going to be locked in place. Okay, so now I can unpin that one. If I want call sign in mobile, you just click on the pins and it's going to lock those in place. Alright, so now let's say I want to export this into, I'm going to actually filter it down. So I'm just going to pull up all the Missouri contacts. Now I want to export those into an Excel spreadsheet. Go over here and click on export. It's going to pop this up. Where do you want to save it? And I'm just going to save it to the desktop. Type in a file name for it. Save it, Now it'll be on your desktop. And there's all my Missouri contacts. Oops, that's... Let me delete that one and let's try this again. And export, desktop, and save. Now let's go to the desktop and see where it's at. And there it is. And there's all my contacts for Missouri. Now you can also export it to a PDF file too. And the same thing, it's going to bring up this dialog box. Type in where you want to save it and the name for it. And test export PDF. It's still working, so the PDF one takes a little while for it to crunch the numbers and export it. So while that's working, I'm going to go ahead and go back here. And the reason it takes so long is there's a lot of columns in here. And you'll see that whenever you open up the file. The PDF one is not very good with this table here because there's just too many columns. Okay, it's done now. Alright, desktop. And you'll see here. It is pretty much microscopic, but it's also at 10% because it's trying to fill it in a screen. But if you go up to 100%, you'll see all of them are there. Now I would not want to try to print this out because it would take a lot of paper to print that out, and that's only filtering it out by the Missouri contacts. Alright, go ahead and close those. And that's it basically in a nutshell. I'll add more functionality to it and stuff later on down the line, but I just wanted to get this out and get some beta testers looking at it and see what they think, and if it'll be worthwhile to go ahead and add more functionality and stuff to it. Alright, with that, we'll say 73s to everyone and catch you on down the log.